This is Tom and Joy. They are just so precious. Anyway, their whole lives changed at this restaurant about a week ago when Tom kneeled down to ask the big question, Joy, will you set aside my utter ugliness and my bad smell and marry me? And of course she said yes. I mean, look at that bundle of handsomeness. So with that information, I'm going to simulate their wedding, their honeymoon, and of course, I'm gonna build them a giant dream house. But with hearing this, I took it upon myself to make them the biggest Lego wedding of all time. Let's begin. So this wedding is going to take place on a beach. Whether they like the beach or not, I don't know. I don't care. That's just where it's going. The beach will obviously be surrounded by a lot of water and of course a ton of seaweed. And when I say a ton, I mean I put every single piece of seaweed I could find on this beach. Then Tom and Joy showed up and Tom hits me with this. Neither one of us really like the beach. She's allergic to the sea air and I just never had a feeling for the beach, so I don't know why we're having a wedding here. And then I stepped in and I said, be gone! Young love, they don't know what's best for them. I then paid some sharks to swim around the island, and I'll tell you why. Later on in the video, I'm building this church for their wedding. And so if one of them start having second thoughts while in the wedding, they can run out of the church, but they cannot escape the island. That is, unless you're okay with being gobbled up by sharks. And I'm doing this because I spent too long on this wedding, and I'm not canceling it. The other thing we'll need to consider are the mosquitoes. I can see it now. They'll bite the bride, which will set off an allergic reaction, and then we'll have to get this medical team in here and everything. And that's not something they're gonna want to remember about their wedding. So we'll need to make a bunch of these mosquito smoke sticks to keep them varmints away. Yeah, so hopefully that's not too many. But the next thing we'll need out here are some palm trees. These may look nice, but they're mainly to keep the sun out because we don't want our minifigures to melt, you know what I'm saying? Wait, where's Tom? Oh my goodness, Tom! The last thing we'll need out here is a booth for food and drinks. We'll just need some walls, some decor on the building, and of course a menu. Let's add some food. In this refrigerator, I'm going to add the cold items like milk, eggs, a water bottle, and lastly, some chicken legs. I know chicken legs are not a cold item. Next, our booth will need a grill to cook this food. So I went and bought this puppy form from the greatest grill house in town. Apparently, this puppy can cook up to 64 burgers a minute. I mean, I didn't even know that was possible. I thought that was up to the chef. But with that, I added a wall and a window in front, along with this decor. And then lastly, I put this roof on top. Now, Tom and Joy can treat themselves to anything on the menu. Oh, but then Tom had to add his 2 cents. Yeah, so he's serving burgers and we're both vegetarians, so I don't know where he missed that part. And then I said, be gone! Next, over in this spot over here, we're gonna build the church. Those wedding bells are getting louder and louder. I'm telling you, I can hear them right now. I really can't. I am now building the foundation for the church. And being a church, I figured I'd go with some classic wood floors. I did add these studs on the floor so I can add pews later on, but that was not the hardest thing to build here. If you know Lego, you know that brown pieces snap like a chicken's bone, so taking this floor apart later is going to be like a tornado through a trailer park. Next thing we'll need are some pews. I built 6 of these puppies and I put 3 on each side. Boy, we are getting that classic church feel now. But next we'll need to make this raised platform. Up here's where it's all gonna happen, but we need this wedding to be stylish. So behind Tom and Joy here, we're gonna put some decor. And I have had a pretty good idea for this part. So here I built an archway. It kind of reminds me of like an entrance to a house. And I did put some studs on the side so I could add some decorations like these leaves. It already looks pretty nice, but then I realized I have these fence pieces too. So I put one of these fence pieces on each side of the archway. And look at that, it looks like an entrance to a beautiful home, which I already built them. Check out that video here. But hold on, we're also gonna need a piano. Lucky for me, Lego already made a printed piano piece and it looks good.
A little too good.
All you really have to do with this piece is build a stand around it. Unfortunately, this is no grand piano, but it'll have to do. And lastly, this will probably barely fit up here, but we need a stool for the pianist. And look at this, the entire church is all ready. And being this close to finishing, I had to tell Tom and Joy. And Joy freaked out and started thinking about all that could go bad during the wedding. So she and Tom got in their car and they went on a drive somewhere so that Joy can cool down. Meanwhile, we have to finish this church. Okay, so I've been adding the walls, which are looking pretty good. But I am up to the windows now, and I am unsure of which windows to use. I've got these tiny little arch ones that kind of look like church windows, but they're a little small for this size building. And I've got these other windows that look a little too modern for this kind of church. But then I found the perfect windows. These are kind of old-timey, and they're not too small. Now that is a good-looking church. I like that church. But now we are at the part in our journey where we need to add a roof. So I built up the walls and angled the bricks so that the roof can lie sideways. And I did add this awkward box here, and we'll get back to this later. Right now, I am building this roof for one side of the church. I added these slope pieces so that when you put it on the church, it slides in and catches just like that. Now I'm going to build an exact replica of that same roof, but for the other side. And even with that done, we still have this massive ugly hole in the roof. So I built one last piece here and put that on top, running into this ugly box. Which, speaking of, we are at that point now. We are now building the church steeple. So I built up the box a little more, and that gives you room to walk around up here. Next, I built up this sort of hollow space for the bell. And with that being done, it's time to add a ceiling and the bell itself. And now if we just add a steeple, this church is officially complete. And that means it's time to add our church to the beach. And I don't know about you, but this place do be looking kind of dry to me. So I am surrounding the church with these dark plates. It's supposed to serve as black mulch, but whether it looks like that, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. Next, I'm gonna surround that black mulch with a lot of these Lego studs. Definitely trying to use a bunch of different colors here, but if you surround the entire building, that'll look similar to rocks. And now I'm just adding different types of Lego plants. But I think the main plant Joy would want at her wedding would be flowers. So I decided to surround the church with a bunch of them. Red flowers, yellow flowers, white flowers, we've got them all. Then I added this little tiny pathway in front of the church, and our church is officially completed. Now, my friends, it is time to bring in all of the guests that we have invited to this wedding, including some that invited themselves. First, we have little Tommy here. I don't even know who he is. He's not related to anybody. Then we've got the man who always shows up to give you money because he's got so much. The man who always shows up asking for money because he doesn't have any. Steve. I was confused too. Then we have Joy's parents, Alan and Barth. Let's go with that. Then we have Tom's parents, Timothy and Samantha, and of course Tom's brother. Don't ask any questions. We have Barbara and her baby. They keep the city bank safe. And last but not least, the bike rider who nobody invited. And with our full crowd here, I started piling them inside the church one by one. No question about it, it's a full crowd. But then I realized one thing. Everyone in the crowd is nicely dressed, but Tom and Joy, the ones that are getting married, are not. So I quickly got out some of the nicest tuxedos I have. And Tom looked a mess in every single one of them. Everyone. It was just awful. Until finally, I found the perfect suit. It was white, it was perfect. But I still had Joy to worry about. Right away, she tried on this green Harry Potter dress, and oh my goodness, it speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. And then I found this white one, and it fits. It's perfect. It matches Tom. No words. And so I put Tom up here in his position. I brought in this pastor who I'm 99% sure is actually Dracula, but you know, we're not gonna go there. And we've got our pianist who I'm pretty sure could be Dracula's wife, so this absolutely makes sense. And now it's time. Joy is coming through the door. She's walking down the aisle perfectly. Oh, she fell. She's back up. She's good. She's good. Do you, Joy, take Tom to be your lawfully wedded husband?
I do.
You may kiss the bride. Oh yeah, I'm sure 100% this man is Dracula. So yes, Tom and Joy got married, but then I realized they're gonna go on honeymoon, so we're gonna need to build them a car. So I put some bricks together for a while, and I eventually came up with this. I can confirm it does have tires, mirrors, it does have mirrors, and I did attach a bunch of cans to this string and tied that to the back of the car like you see at a lot of weddings. So Tom and Joy got in their brand new car and headed off to that honeymoon, which of course could only mean
a verbo house.
So in this video, I will be testing my building skills to the max to create the perfect honeymoon experience. Let's begin. So the first thing I'm doing here is building them their own personal island, which will obviously need to be surrounded by water. Oh yes, dangerous water that is probably filled with sharks. But unlike the wedding island, this island is very green, but not nearly green enough. So I brought in a lot of these little Lego flowers, and now this island looks a whole lot better. But we still need some more plants, so I'm gonna add these ones with the little leaves. I also have this weird bush one that kind of looks like Yo Mama, if you know what I'm saying. And lastly, I put some trees around the island, which I think livens it up a lot. Then Tom and Joy came to visit, and Tom said, "Oh wow, yeah, well, it looks pretty good." And I was like, "That's it? I made you an island." Then I looked at Tom and his two little beady eyes, and I said, "Be gone!" And he was gone. But what I didn't know was that Joy was wandering around the island by herself, and she ran into a mountain lion. But thankfully, a tree branch broke, and it scared the mountain lion away. At least for now. However, something about this encounter made Joy frightened of this island. It was so bad that Tom had to get her in the car and drive away for a few days, leaving me with the job of building them their verbo house. So over here, I am building the foundation of what will be the garage. But Tom and Joy both have a car, and there's only enough room here for one car. So we'll need to extend this garage foundation, allowing 2 cars to fit perfectly. And as you can see, I left a lot of studs all over the floor, and that's so that we can add some accessories inside this garage. Like right here, I put 4 studs down, then I added this plate, put 2 of these Lego drawer pieces together on top of that, and finished it off with some tile on top. And that'll make you a workbench where you can keep all your tools. And I'm gonna put that over here. Next, I found this Lego refrigerator piece, and I just filled that with a bunch of junk food for Tom. Except, of course, these Pepsis, because we all know Pepsi's the best soda in the world. But I totally don't drink Pepsi. What's that doing? So at this point, we need to build up the walls on this garage. But I just realized that one of the cars is sticking out just a bit far. So we're gonna need to extend this pavement, allowing both cars to fit perfectly. Next, I'm going to add this layer of brown bricks at the bottom of our walls. Yes, I know brown is not the most attractive color. Even Tom has been giving me a hard time about it, but I promise it will look good. So now I am building up some white walls on this garage. And as you can see, I left a couple of square spaces open on this right side. And that was for these 2 windows, which are brown and will nicely match the bottom layer of our garage. And I did also leave these studs on the walls. And if we just add 4 of these 1x4 brown tiles, we'll have ourselves some shutters for these windows. And now we'll just finish up the walls here. With that, all we need is a garage door. So if we just, oh, come on! So first, we'll just need to build up these sloped walls on both sides. I'll come back to those. Right now, we need a garage door. So I'm gonna put a bunch of these gray plates down. And in these 2 empty spots, I'm gonna add our hinge pieces. And now I'm gonna add a bunch of white tiles to make this garage door smooth. I'll add this layer of brown on the bottom. We'll need these 2 brown pinchy thingies, along with this brown stick, which will serve as a handle for this garage door. And now our garage door is finished, and we can snap that right on the garage there. All we need now on this garage is a big old roof. So I'm gonna put a bunch of these brown plates together, and on top of those, a bunch of brown tile strips. This will give kind of the feeling of a metal roof. And if we just add this brick on the bottom, our roof will attach just like that. And with all that done, our garage is complete. Anyway, Joy came back and now she's mad because apparently she can't live in a garage, which means we're gonna have to build the house. So over on this left side of the garage, I am putting down some black flooring. Our living room will be here, our bathroom will be over here, and our kitchen right here. So first off in our kitchen, I'm going to add some drawers. Inside those, I'll put some spoons and forks. Next to our drawers here will be our sink, and we'll just finish that up with some countertops. With that there, all we need now is our kitchen fridge. This time I put some very healthy food that will better their bodies. Just kidding! I filled that fridge full of junk and also a Pepsi. But next to our kitchen here, we'll need a toilet. Tom was very extra excited about this for whatever reason. I don't know why. But now we just need to build a wall that divides the kitchen from the bathroom, you know, because you need privacy. So, on this wall, I added one of these little knob pieces. And if you just add one of these 1x1 white cylinder bricks, you officially have yourself toilet paper. Now that we have a wall here, we can add our microwave for the kitchen. And we'll also need a door to the bathroom. With all that done, let's get on the living room. First, I am building this couch, and that'll fit perfectly right here in this corner. And the only other thing you need in a living room besides a couch is, of course, a TV. Now we just need to add some stairs, which will lead to our next level. But before we do with Tom, come on, there are no walls. But before we move on, we'll need to make the walls to this first level. With that, I want to add some smooth tile on top, and that'll make it easier to remove our second level once it's there. But I have one more finishing touch I want to do on this first level before we move on. I'm just going to build some brick layers up on these corners, and that completes the first goated layer of this house. Anyway, again, Joy decided to walk around the island today, no particular reason, and she was having a great time. Until a mountain lion came out. The wild beast had killer in its eyes. But luckily, Tom came speeding by with his car and scared the mountain lion away. Joy was very angry about this, which means we need to finish this house. So right now, I am building this white foundation for our second level. This entire floor will be Tom and Joy's bedroom. Right here in this open gap is where our stairs will come up. And right next to that, I'm going to add this rug. Sort of a home warming gift, you know? Now I'll just put down the actual flooring to this floor, and with that we need to add some furniture. First off, I am building what might look like a dresser here, but it's actually just a place to keep their clothes. Over here on the actual flooring will be their bed, and for their bed I decided to make them a standard king-size mattress. At least, I think that would be pretty close to a king size. And lastly, for furniture, I am adding 2 desks on both sides of the bed. And that pretty much sums all that up, but we still need to build the walls. And on those walls, I have these perfect little picture frames that will go on display. And now, all we need to do is just add our roof. So I went and built these 2 brown roof pieces that are similar to the one I built before, but just, a lot smaller. Those attach on just like that. And now that that's done, our second level is complete. And you would think with all this cool stuff that they would be having the best honeymoon ever, right? No. For the first couple days, they were having a great time. They would watch TV while eating popcorn, read books together, but Joy suddenly grew tired of this house. Tom knew he had to do something big to regain her attention. Tom immediately ran outside and threw some base plates on the ground. Oh, he had the perfect idea. On top of those base plates, we'll add a bunch of these brown sloped pieces that point outward. Over on this end here, we'll need to add a bunch of these gray bricks. That'll form a deck back here, which I guess kind of gives you a hint at what we're doing. And in this spot here, we'll need to add some stairs that lead to the lower part here, which will be our living area. So Tom bought this tiny little fridge and said it would be the perfect size. I'm not gonna argue with that. Instead, I'll just add this sink. On the other side here, I'm gonna add 2 cabinets and they can keep all their garbage in there. We'll also need a stairway to the next level. With that, I'll just add some flooring and our living area is complete. But Tom and Joy will need a bedroom in here. So I'll just add these white bricks underneath for support, and on top of that, we'll build their bed, which was Tom's favorite part. But we will need to add some walls on both sides of the boat now. On those, I did leave some studs, and that was so that I could add these cool little red strips. However, we are kind of missing the whole entire front of our boat here. So for this part, I added a bunch of these white sloped pieces that come together and form this point. It doesn't look the best, but it works. But Tom is getting very nervous about Joy. We can't have their honeymoon go poorly, so we need to finish this yacht now. So on top, I am building the foundation for the second level. Over in this empty spot will be the captain's cabin. For that, we'll need to build up these slopes. On top of that, we'll add our windshield, and of course we're gonna need these brick supports here on the back to hold up our roof. And of course, all we need now is a roof. We just slap that on there, and now Tom can swoop in with his yacht and surprise Joy. But now, Tom and Joy are expecting a baby! So in this video, I will have to make them the dream house. The perfect dream house. One that has a kitchen and a living room and a laundry room, but also really cool stuff like a hot tub. And of course, a porch that overlooks an amazing view. And we have to do all of this in 1 week before the baby is due. So I say we better get started with digging what every home needs, a well. And you can believe I tried pretty much all the options there are to digging a well. Until, finally. You could just see it on their plastic faces. They can already see this home coming together. And we are here wasting time. We need to step on it. So I am now building the foundation. This part over here will be our garage. And I'm really trying to make this part big because with 2 people, you need enough room for 2 cars. And I think that looks great. But what's more important is the house right now. So Tom and Joy wanted the house part of this a little more levitated. So I raised it about 3 bricks higher than the actual garage part. And to get up there, I added a few steps. And just to make sure that no one falls off the front here, I'm going to add this rail. And while I was moving on to the next step, Tom and Joy had a problem with their car. And while I don't know what's wrong with their car, Tom and Joy have an appointment that they're late for. So we have to build them a car. And now that they have one, they can get to their appointment and we can get back on building the house. So going back to the garage here, I'm going to build this frame that leaves 2 openings for 2 doors, using the same brick technique that we used on the foundation for the house. And behind that, I went ahead and built the part that keeps the garage door in place. And now, if we connect a bunch of these clear pieces, we'll have our garage doors. But we still need a wall around the garage. And so I built up the garage using these white bricks. And I added a door and a few windows just to give it that homey feel. But we're gonna need some stuff inside the garage if he's gonna fix his car. So I went ahead and built this toolbox, filled that with all kinds of tools. I placed that on that side. Then I built this cool workbench that has pegs to hold up his tools. I decided to put that right next to the toolbox there. And after that, I added this mini refrigerator. That way, he'll always have a cold soda on one of those hot summer days. But we can't be littering, so I did add this trash can too. And with that, I added a roof on top and our garage is complete. And then I quickly realized after building the garage that the landscape needs some serious work. So I added this black mulch all the way around the garage using these dark Lego pieces. I then surrounded the mulch with a lot of these studs, which serve as rocks. I added some Lego flowers and then called it good. But then I realized that we have a problem. It's getting dark. Tom and Joy are gonna need somewhere to stay, and I haven't even started on the actual house. So the best solution I could come up with was to build them a tent, just to stay in a couple nights until I get the house finished. I did put 2 beds in there for them, and outside I built this cozy little campfire. And around that, I put 2 seats and of course some sticks to cook some marshmallows with, just in case they get hungry. Wow, looking at this, I can't even tell which one's gonna be cozier, the campfire or the house itself. I don't know yet, but Tom Tom and Joy really seemed to enjoy that campfire when they got back. This means that I have to try extra hard tomorrow to make this house absolutely perfect, or they might not like it. And speaking of, it is now day 2 of our incredible house building journey, and the goal is to build the living room, the kitchen, and the laundry room all today. But as you can imagine, we have other problems. So this morning, I made Tom his own personal fishing pond, and while he loved it so much that he stayed out there all morning, a mountain lion that lived nearby also liked that pond very much. And as you can imagine, this scared Joy pretty well. Tom is talking to her right now, but this means that we have to get this house done. So over on this left side, I am building the living room. I'm gonna build with the same white bricks that we used for the garage. And the idea for the face of the house, I wanted to add a bunch of windows. That way you can look out and flex on all the money you don't have. Well, at least they don't have any money because they gave it all to me to build this house. But moving on, I did make them this cozy little Lego couch. And it fits really well right there in the living room, along with this 100-inch TV. Yeah, you can bet they're not gonna have any problems seeing that. And I think we all know that every cozy living room has to have a fireplace. And lastly, I did build this one last chair, this lamp, which, you know, what living room doesn't have a lamp? And a bunch of random pictures on the walls of people that they don't know. And that basically sums up the living room. Got a nice little fire going in here, the couch is all comfy, but they still can't sleep inside tonight because they don't have a roof. And I hear we're in for some pretty bad weather. So unfortunately, it's back in the tent for them tonight. And I think I'll hit the old sack myself. I'll be seeing you on day 3. That night, the storms did come in. The creek started rising along with trees falling over. You can imagine Joy wasn't happy when she got up, especially when she saw this. Ooh, it's a good thing I built that cage the night before. Joy seemed to be very happy knowing that this mountain lion had been transported miles away from their home. She could finally get her rest, and Tom, well, he could finally enjoy his fishing. Now, as for me, I'm getting on the laundry room. The laundry room and kitchen are side by side back here. And as you would expect, the sooner we get those two done, the sooner we can be done with this first floor and get onto the bedrooms upstairs. So for the laundry room, I built this washer and dryer, added this hamper for clothes, then I added some shelves in this room just in case they need to keep any storage in there. And that basically sums up the laundry room. And for the kitchen, I'm using the same flooring here. Now this is Joy's personal space. Tom has his garage and she has her kitchen. So we have to make this really special for her, just like we made the garage special for Tom. So let's make some nice kitchen counters here. Add some drawers on those there. Let's go ahead and add the stove and refrigerator. It's already looking so nice. She's gonna be very happy with this, especially if we add some extra cabinets up on top. And on these little hooks here, we can add a pan, this knife, a fork, and a spoon, of course. It also needs a microwave up here. And now that we have all that done, let's surround the kitchen and laundry room with walls. And as a finishing touch, I added this island along with 2 stools. Tom had his own idea and put some flowers in there for Joy. Oh yeah, he knows how to work it. All you guys out there, you need to be taking tips from him. But this brings us to the end of day 3. On day 4, I added this staircase in the living room that leads to the 2nd floor. And speaking of the 2nd floor, we need to build that floor, as in the actual flooring. I did start this process by building the coolest little overhead. That way you could step outside on one of those cold, rainy mornings with your cup of coffee and not get wet. And speaking of staying dry, I went ahead and layered this floor across the first layer of the house. But we still need to knock out a space there for the stairs. And right then, I heard this. Tom knew it the second he heard it. The baby was unexpectedly coming early. So he got her in the car and he drove off like a madman to that hospital. And with the baby on the way, I had to dart right back on the house. So on the 2nd floor here, I decided to go with a couple balconies, one on the right side and one on the left side. And for this one on the left side, I'm gonna keep it pretty basic. But for this one on the right side, I wanted to kind of wrap around the house so that they have more room to walk around out there. The staircase comes up here, so my idea is that we use this as a hallway. And right over here, at the end of their hallway, will be a perfect spot for their bathroom. So I went ahead and put the floor down, added this shower, this sink, and of course a toilet. I then put up these walls that closed up the bathroom. I also put up some decorations like this lantern and this mirror that doesn't really do its job, but it'll have to work. I then proceeded to make the baby's room. This room was very important as it needs to be very comfortable for this baby to sleep in. We'll need to make a very comfy crib, some toys like this little train, this teddy bear, and a few other toys. And I think that looks pretty good, so let's close that room up. And lastly, for the 2nd floor, we do have the master bedroom. I started off with making this king-size bed, which is absolutely needed for a master bedroom. And beside of their bed, I added a couple of these mini tables with lamps on them. And while they're sitting in bed, they might want to watch TV. So this room is now finished. But as soon as I built up the walls, I got a call from Tom saying that they're already coming home with the baby. And as soon as I heard the news, I hurried to finish the roof. And of course, the hot tub that I promised them. And when they got here, it was like love at plastic sight. They were all so happy with their new home. So much that Tom didn't even go fishing that day. But to pay for all this stuff, they'll need a place to work for money. This place, it is 2 floors high, has a guy named Tom, and of course, all the animals you can ever hope to buy. First thing I'm gonna do is take a trip to the land of Wales. We need base plates, and I'm gonna go with these blue ones here. I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. Yeah, this is gonna be a big pet shop. Bring in the truck! Oh wow. So here in front, I'm going to add our parking lots and of course our entrance to this store. And as you can see on the parking lot, I did use this sideways building technique, and that way I can add all these yellow lines everywhere, and that'll show our drivers where to park. Now we won't have a bunch of cars lined up crashed outside, so that's a great thing. However, we will have customer after customer bringing their carts out to the parking lot. So I'll need to spend every last dollar in my bank account to build these cart returns. Now our customers can return their carts one by one and not get in any fights. Guys, what did I literally just say? Next, I'm going to add this grass on the gray middle areas here, and that way the employees of this store will have something cool to look at, but also something cool to touch. Lastly, I want to add these safety posts out front. There are some dangerous drivers out there, and we don't want them destroying our pet shop. But now we have a completed parking lot, so let's get onto the interior of this store. This guy's name is Tom. He is the official CEO of this building, so we'll need to make him an office at the front of the store here. As you can see, he's got everything a boss would want in his office. I did build him his own desk, added a lamp, and other things like this Pepsi, and of course lots and lots of money. Oh, he feels the power. Over on this side, I'm going to add an area for fish. We have a lot of tanks over here, so let's see how many different types of fish we can add. So I started off with my 4 main fish. I put those in the bottom tanks on this right side. I also have 3 of these crabs. They're pretty cool. I put all those above the fish. But we have one more space here, so I thought I could add this frog. Let's just pretend it's a water frog. Over here, I have these Lego clams, and I ran out of water animals, so here's a scorpion. And on the bottom, I'm going to add 3 spiders. I mean, look at this one. This one, it looks like it's poisonous. I'm not gonna lie. Next, I'm going to build this big shelf right in the middle of the floor here. On that, I'm going to add some products like this fish food, but our fish might get hungry, so we need to add some more fish food. And besides that, we'll need to add some fish food. However, we do have some crabs, clams, spiders, and scorpions, so we'll need to add some more fish food. Great, now that that's done, we'll need to add a shelf over on this side, and guess what we're gonna add there? We'll just need to add some bird food. You probably thought I was gonna say fish food again, but no, we need bird food also, because over here I am building this massive bird cage. Well, actually, it's more of a bird tank. I mean, I've seen this at Petco, so I thought it'd be cool. But anyway, I added this macaw in here, as well as this dove. I also added this owl. I don't even know if you can adopt an owl, but we have one. Yeah, pretty cool, but we'll also need to build these stairs to our next level. Then Tom came out and he was all like, I love the birds and the pets and all that, but I really need some merchandise to make some money. Oh my goodness, this man is never happy. So over here, I'm going to build him a section full of merchandise. I added these shirts, some different colored coffee cups. We have a chicken, a squirrel, and a butterfly. They are stuffed animals. They are not alive. Just thought you should know that. Over here, we have more stuffed animals. Mice, ducks, birds, more birds, squirrels, and bears. And that pretty much sums up our shop. Anyway, here are the cashiers of this store. First, we have Brendan. Then there's Joy. She's not as cool as Brendan. And lastly, we have Mr. Brickflix himself. For our 3 cashiers, we will need to build 3 registers in this shop. Each one has these cool little buttons you can press. I have no idea what they do, but they are there. And of course, we have the green lights on every one of our registers to let the customers know that they are open. Joy, in fact, is not open. She's got a red light. But now we can add a bunch of customers shopping around on our first level. One of the customers went to cash out and whispered this to Brendan. Do you know where the bathroom is? So over here, I am making 2 stalls. One for the men and one for the women, of course. In each stall, we'll need to add a toilet and also these sinks. Now our customers have a bathroom and they're very happy shopping around our store, but some walls on this building would do us some good. So I started with building these tan walls out front, and in the back, I went with some white walls to make sure that we have enough tan bricks for the front of the building. That looks great. But it might start raining here, so let's build a ceiling to this first level. I did leave this opening here so that people could come up through the stairs. Wow, he's so talented. Give him a round of applause. All right, that's enough. Yeah. I said stop! So up here, I'm going to add this little fenced-in area. Now, there's quite a bit of space in here. Enough space for a good-sized animal. So if we just add some hay in these corners, this will be a perfect pen for our little foal here. It's a baby horse. Next to that over here, I'm going to build another pen. This time, I'm going to add 1 bed here and another bed over here. But we're not putting a foal in this one. No, in this one, we're going to put these cute little dogs. They might look dangerous, but oh my goodness. Yeah, okay, they're dangerous. Never mind. Well, anyway, speaking of cute animals, I'm building another pen next to that dog pen. I'm going to add yet another 2 beds. beds, but this time the dogs are actually kind of cute. I mean, look at these. Oh my goodness. Oh! And now let's add just one more pen over on this side. This time I wanted to add something that I was sure is friendly, so I added these 2 turtles. I'm still not going near them. But now that we have all these animals, they might make a mess. So over here, I'm going to make a cleaning station for our pets. But of course, our pets can't clean themselves, so we have our assistant Cheryl here. Hi, Cheryl. And with that, the animal lounge up here is done. However, I thought it would be appropriate to build a few more registers up here. And as soon as I did that, that same guy came back and he asked that question. Do you know where the bathroom is? So over here, I am building yet another 2 bathrooms. Pretty much the same ones as the ones downstairs. One for the men and one for the women. I added some toilet seats and of course a couple of sinks. And our friend here was happy. Lastly, I want to add this little wall all around our stairs just to make sure nobody falls down. Like our friend. That's embarrassing. Anyway, now we need to build up the walls in front of our building here. I did keep the bricks tan out front, and in the back, I decided to keep them white. Now we just need to add our final ceiling, which I guess is also our roof, but I need to add one more thing up here on top. This will be a place for our sign. And after a long time of thinking through all the possible names, I came up with Petco. It's just like Petco, but you know, we have to avoid the copyright, all right? I am going to build the most fun place on Lego Earth. A place that has roller coasters, bumper cars, a giant water slide, and much more. And I'm going to do all of this in 100 hours. Let's begin. Right here, I am building the entrance to this glorious theme park. And I love castles. I mean, who doesn't like castles? So I'm making a castle-themed entrance. So in these 2 towers here in the front, you can see we have a couple of windows. And that's because these 2 towers will be our ticket booths. And the people who are running the ticket booths are Tom and Joy here. Joy has a baby, so she's gonna need a crib in her booth, along with this cash register to hold money, and this machine I built to print out everyone's tickets. But over in Tom's booth, things are a bit different over here. Tom requested that I make him his own bed. I guess for when there are no customers at the window, I don't know. He also requested that I make him his own soda machine that has orange Fanta, Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, and of course the best soda of all time, Pepsi. Fight me in the comments, I don't care, come on! And of course we had to make him a ticket printer as well, and of course a cash register. Our entrance here looks pretty good, but it's missing one thing. We need a sign outside with the name of our theme park. So I tried making one for a couple of hours, and I didn't really like any of the names I was coming up with until I thought of the name Cool Place. I mean, that's just brilliant. So right here we are working on our first ride in this theme park. This is going to be the bumper cars ride. Now bumper cars are very violent, but they're also scary. But guess what? They're also violent. But that is just what makes them so much fun. So here I built sort of a circle for the bumper cars to drive on. But next we'll need to make a pathway, and this will serve as a place for people to wait in line. We'll also need to make some rails for our pathway here, because we all know how frustrating it is when you've been in line for so long and then there's that one person who just cuts in. I mean, shame on you, Tom. And now I'm just adding some smooth tile on top of the rail. Now we'll just need to make the bumper cars themselves. This part is kind of complicated because there are a lot of different type of bumper cars. So the real question is, what kind of bumper car should we build? And after attempting trying to build many different styles that I saw online, I finally came up with this little puppy here. And yes, it's simple, it's very basic, maybe a little too basic, but you have a seat, you got a steering wheel, and of course you got the little bumper part on the bottom. And that of course is the part that allows you to bump into other cars without damaging them. And speaking of other cars, we're gonna need to build a lot more of these. I did it. So I ended up building 4 of them. I'm not sure if 4 can actually fit on the track, but you know, we've got them now, so whatever. And now it is time to build up the walls on this ride. And as you can see, I'm going with the yellow and blue theme to match our sign up front. Right here is the entrance to the ride. I did leave these massive windows open, and that's so that when you're on the ride, you can look outside. That rhymes. Now we just need to add a roof to this fantastic theme park ride. And just so people know what this is, we're gonna need a name on the building. A name that's fantastic, something that describes bumper cars, something that's incredible. Like, bumps. We can change it later. And now that we have a ride, a lot of people are entering the theme park. But I'm having to turn some away. I mean, look at this ugly thing. No, sir, we cannot have him in here. All right, I'm just kidding, come on in. Yay! But we have other problems. You see, now everyone has a ride, but they don't have any food, so they're starting to complain.
Yeah, like, you know, I need food if I want to live.
And then there's this guy here.
A theme park without any food? I think this place is a dump.
So I am now on a mission to make this theme park its very own restaurant. And I thought we might as well go with the castle theme to match the entrance. Right here will be the front counter. This will be where you order your food and you pay. So I went ahead and built a cash register similar to the one we built earlier. And our server here is going to need a stool to sit down. I mean, look at those little legs. I mean, there's no way he's gonna stand on those all day. Behind him here we'll have another soda fountain. And this one, of course, has to have Pepsi too, since that's the best soda of all time. time. And next to the front counter here, we're gonna have to have a place for all the food. Now I'm gonna add some home-style cooked meals, something like some chicken legs, some eggs, some mashed potato, and gravy. That looks really cursed, I'm not gonna lie. And now that we have all our food options, we need to put this glass on here. And now our customers can look through the glass and see the food and know that it's not fake, it's totally real. Next, we'll need to build the walls around our restaurant here. Oh boy, we already got a customer, we gotta get this done. Let's add us a little roof on top, and this place is officially done. But you'll never believe what they complained about next.
Yeah, so I got my food and everything, but I don't have a place to eat it. Like, what am I supposed to eat it on the floor?
So I built some of these round tables and some chairs, and then I created sort of an area for everyone to sit with their meals over here. And now everyone is eating in perfect harmony. 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 It's so wonderful. But do you know what's more wonderfuler? The fact that we're building a water slide that will go right into a pool. Right here, I'm building the first level of a tower. So basically, you're gonna enter through here, and right away, you're gonna see this staircase that I'm gonna add that'll lead to the second floor. Now, you can walk on through and go up the staircase, but I decided to put some merch down here, like these bath towels, some shirts that are very much waterproof, and some hats. I mean, that doesn't really make any sense for this ride, but we've got t-shirts and towels whenever you get wet. I mean, look at this guy, he loves it. I mean, clearly. But with that, let's put a roof on the first floor and get onto the second floor here on top. Now, this second floor, I'm not gonna do much with it. I'm just gonna add the 4 corner walls, and I'll be gracious enough to even add a bench, which they should not be tired after only climbing 1 floor. But what can I say? I'm nice like that. And now, we'll just need to add some more stairs, which will lead to the 3rd level. Okay, here's where people might start to get tired. So let's go ahead and add us another bench on this 3rd level. Now we just need to add yet another staircase, and of course, we'll need to build our 4 corner walls again to hold up our 4th level. And once you've made it all the way up to the 4th floor, you're ready to go down the slide, but we don't have that yet. Ow. So first of all, for safety, we're gonna need to add a rail all the way around this 4th floor. Now, people might bring a cell phone. I mean, they could bring a hat, or even worse, a baby. So we'll need to build a little cubby for all our loose items. And now that all that's done, it's time to build the slide itself. But first we'll need a pool, because it's not safe to slide onto the ground from this far up. So let's put us a blue square that'll serve as water on the ground here. And now we just need to make a rim around the pool using these plates to keep the water in. And now that that's done, we'll just need to add these little C-clamps on top of our tower. These little clamps will snap onto these pieces, allowing us to curve the slide. And now pretty much all we have to do is just add 1 piece of the slide at a time. And now our water slide is officially complete. Now, let's test it with our first minifigure. Oh my goodness, that's horrible, wow. Oh, well, it's okay, I have insurance. And now, our theme park is almost completely finished, but we have to finish with a roller coaster. Right now, I am building the building that will have all the controls to run this roller coaster. But over on the right side here, I'm gonna extend the building and add an entrance onto the ride. We'll get back to this later. But right now, I am building the operator for this ride. His name is Bob.
Hi, Bob.
But like I said, he's the operator, so all he has to do is hit this button to go, this button to stop, and this button to speed the ride up. And now that we know how to work it, let's add a roof. And going back to the entrance on the ride, we'll need to build a pathway for possibly a long line. And lastly, I'm gonna add some rails. But in the back here, we'll need to build a dock. And this is where all the minifigures will be lined up ready for the coaster to come in so they can get on board. A few weeks ago, I actually ordered a ton of roller coaster tracks. And these are really cool because they can do all kinds of different things. Like this one, it just stays flat, or this one, which allows the coaster to curve. And of course, the best tracks are the sloped ones. Now I'm trying to put these tracks together 1 piece at a time. So I put down some flat tracks in front of our boarding dock here. And right after the people board the coaster, our track is gonna take them right up into the sky. And now I'm using these curved tracks to turn the roller coaster around once it gets up. And then from here, we're gonna angle the tracks back down, joining this end with the opposite end, allowing the coaster to return to its original destination. And now let's spice this ride up by adding some trees and some plants in the center here. And now this track is officially finished. But our coaster itself kind of looks you know what I mean? There's nothing done to it. So on this first one, I'm going with sort of a fire look. I mean, it already had the red, but I added some flames. And I added some flames. This next one, I was trying to go for a fire truck look. So you know, it's got the lights on there, and it's got these little guns that shoot out water. And this last one, I kind of went for an airplane, so I added these little tiny wings. And with that, our roller coaster is complete. We built a castle-themed entrance, a bumper cars ride, this restaurant, this water slide, and this roller coaster. Comment below what I should do next, and also, don't forget to subscribe. See you later.